Hello, today I would just like to give a review on a ceramic knife. A friend asked me to sharpen this knife for him. He told me he bought it about a year ago and that he never sharpened it before. So the first thing I noticed, the edge was full of microchips all along the blade. And that's what ceramic knives do. If you cut hard, you have frozen food, or you hit a bone, the blade will chip. So that's a huge disadvantage of the ceramic blade. So I figured, okay, how am I going to sharpen it? Because ceramic is very, very hard. So I took out my diamond plates here because diamond is harder than ceramic. So I figured that would be the only way to sharpen it. And I started with the coarse grit to remove all the chips that I had along the edge. And I've noticed that the chips were not disappearing, so I didn't know if it was sharpening or if it was the diamond themselves causing more chips to the blade. So then I switched to my 600 grit diamond, and then the chips started disappearing slowly, but I spent 15 minutes on it and I still had chips. So then I went to the finest grit that I have on this diamond plate here, which is 1200 grit, and I must have spent like half an hour sharpening it, and all the chips were almost all gone finally. So then I wasn't sure if the coarse grit were causing chips or if it was just because I didn't spend enough time sharpening it. But now that I had an almost perfect smooth edge, I was curious and I needed to know. So I went back to my coarse diamond grit, and sure enough my knife was full of chips again, so I had to restart all over. So finally I had it pretty good with the finest grit, the 1200 grit, but I could still see microchips. It wasn't perfect, and I had spent at least half an hour sharpening it. So then I decided to go with my 8000 grit Waterstone. But I wasn't sure if it was going to sharpen because the ceramic blade is just as hard as this. And after spending about an hour on it, finally the blade got perfect. I looked at the edge of the blade under the microscope, and it was finally perfect. There was no more chips. And I will show you under the microscope in a minute what the blade looked like when the knife was given to me to sharpen and after, and you will see the big difference. But yeah, a sharpening knife with a whetstone, yes, it sharpens, but it takes forever. I will never ever sharpen a ceramic blade again. So here's the edge of the blade, and you can see all the nasty chips on there. That's what ceramic knife does when you cut hard foods. It chips very easily. And here's the end results after I spent over an hour sharpening this knife. As you can see, the edge looks really nice. So I was a little bit curious, how sharp could I get this ceramic blade? So, do I have 2 pages here? Yes, I do. Okay, so that wasn't fair. It's not that sharp. It's sharp. Could you shave with it? No way. So just to compare it with a high quality steel knife, as you can see, this cut much better than a ceramic knife. I mean, maybe if it would be a higher quality ceramic knife, it would cut just as well. I doubt it. Again, with a steel knife. So here are my final thoughts on the ceramic blade. Would I ever buy a ceramic knife? Never. It chips way too easy. You can't cut hard foods with it. You can't, hit bones with it. It will chip. If you drop it on the floor, it could break. There are advantages. It's got a really good edge retention, so that means it will stay sharp for a long time because ceramic is so hard, as long as you only cut soft food with it. So you're very limited. The other advantage is that it's light, it will never rust, but the disadvantage outweigh the advantage by far.